The whispers started quietly, slithering through the dark corners of social media before erupting into a full-blown scandal. Was Vanessa Bryant, the widow of the late Kobe Bryant, pregnant? And not just pregnant, rumors swirled that the father was a young baller, a phrase deliberately vague yet dripping with implication. The internet, ever eager to dissect a woman's choices, pounced. Memes, think pieces, and outrage spiraled into a storm Vanessa never asked for. But the real explosion came when Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe's former teammate and self-proclaimed family protector, went live on Instagram to address the rumors, not with discretion but with a public confrontation that felt more like an ambush. Shaq's words were heavy with disappointment. The rumors were true, he suggested, it would be a betrayal of Kobe's legacy. The implication was clear. Vanessa's body, her grief, her right to move forward were not hers alone. They belonged to the public, to Kobe's memory, to men like Shaq who had appointed themselves guardians of a narrative they didn't live.
Pregnant by a young baller, basketball player.
Vanessa, however, wasn't having it. Behind the scenes, she was furious. Where was this energy when she was fighting to protect Kobe's legacy from exploitation?
Amongst in the community.
What's the rule?
What community? Listen, the community that I'm from.
Where was Shaq when she sued the sheriff's department for leaking graphic crash photos? Where was his outrage when Nike released Gigi's shoes without her consent? The hypocrisy was staggering. 'Cause while the world demanded Vanessa remain a grieving widow in perpetuity, Kobe's male peers faced no such scrutiny. NBA legends dated women decades younger without backlash. They remarried, moved on, lived freely. But Vanessa? She was expected to wear her sorrow like a crown, never daring to smile too brightly or, heaven forbid, show interest in another man. The double standard was suffocating. Then came the bombshell. The rumor wasn't organic. It was planted. Sources revealed that the initial whispers had been strategically leaked by a former family associate with ties to a disgruntled Nike executive, someone who had clashed with Vanessa after she pulled Gigi's shoe release. This wasn't gossip, it was revenge. A smear campaign designed to tarnish her reputation precisely because she had refused to be controlled. And Shaq's sudden public interrogation? It reeked of orchestration. A PR operative linked to his camp had been present at the Malibu brunch where the so-called baby bump photo was taken, the same photo that never went public but somehow became the foundation of the rumor. The layers of betrayal were staggering. Vanessa had spent years defending Kobe's legacy, only to be undermined by those who claimed to honor him. She had battled corporations, the media, even her own mother, who infamously sued her for financial support mere months after Kobe's death. Through it all, she stood firm, a pillar of resilience in the face of unrelenting scrutiny. But the most damning revelation? The financial stakes. California state law suggested that if Vanessa remarried, she could lose control over key assets in Kobe's $600 million empire, trusts for their daughters, brand deals, intellectual property rights. Suddenly, the public's obsession with her love life made sinister sense. This wasn't about loyalty. It was about money, control, and the fear of a woman wielding power she was never supposed to have. Yet Vanessa refused to be shackled. Her response? A defiant Instagram post, Rihanna poolside, middle finger raised, captioned, "Me protecting my peace, not pregnant, having fun all summer." It wasn't just a denial, it was a declaration. She owed no one her grief, her silence, or her solitude. The fallout was swift. Women rallied behind her, sharing stories of being policed in their own widowhood. NBA players, shamed by their silence, reached out privately to apologize. And Shaq? He began scrubbing his social media, deleting old posts of him and Kobe as the internet exposed his hypocrisy, liking gossip posts that vilified Vanessa while pretending to be her protector. In the end, this wasn't about a pregnancy rumor. It was about a widow's right to exist on her own terms. Vanessa Bryant had loved Kobe fiercely, defended his legacy tirelessly, and raised their daughters through unimaginable pain. She chose to laugh again, to love again, that was her right. Not as Kobe's widow, but as Vanessa, a woman who had survived hell and refused to let anyone, not even legends like Shaq, dictate her healing. So we have to ask, why does the world struggle so deeply with widows who dare to live? Why are women like Vanessa held to impossible standards while men move on without scrutiny? And most importantly, when will society stop treating a woman's grief as public property? If this story reveals anything, it's that the fight for autonomy doesn't end with death. It lingers in courtrooms, in headlines, in the whispers of those who think they have a right to a widow's life. Vanessa Bryant's greatest act of loyalty hasn't been her silence, it's been her defiance. And that, more than any rumor, is what truly honors Kobe's legacy. What do you think? Was Shaq out of line, or was he genuinely looking out for Kobe's family? And how much should public opinion dictate a widow's choices? Let us know in the comments, and if you believe in letting women write their own stories, hit subscribe. Conversation isn't over.